It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the happiest place to be, the holly that will be on your own front door. Well, Merry pre-celebrative Christmas, everyone. As in US, we all decorate our house, and apparently I just went all out with my decorations, as you can see. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, as promised on my Facebook page, we're going to be talking about your Ascendant nakshatra and what really does it mean to study your Ascendant nakshatra itself. And obviously, if you're not on my Facebook page, check out the links at the description section so you can get all the updates every day, what I'm doing, what video I might be filming, so this way you can look out for it. Because many people were waiting for this, on Facebook, because I was discussing things related to Ascendant nakshatra. And the thing is, I've already made a video on Ascendant nakshatra 2 years ago, where I talk about the actual activation with the Mahadasha, which you can go watch. But this is going to be a bit more of a deeper, meaning of Ascendant nakshatra. Now, what is Ascendant nakshatra? Well, just like any other planet is in a certain sign, especially your moon, in Vedic astrology, there are nakshatras working behind the scenes of a zodiac sign. So we always look at our moon nakshatra. What is our moon nakshatra? And your every other planet that is out there is in a certain nakshatra. Even Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, for all those Western lovers, they're probably in a certain nakshatra. So if they're in a certain nakshatra, that means your ascendant has to be in a certain nakshatra, because guess what? Your ascendant is a certain sign. That's why we call ourselves, I'm an Aries ascendant, I'm a Capricorn ascendant, I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, I'm a Gemini ascendant. So if your ascendant is in a certain sign, at a certain degree, it must be in a certain nakshatra, depending upon the degree of your ascendant. So that nakshatra is doing something. So that's what we're going to discuss today. What does it mean to have Ascendant nakshatra? We all know, we always read about our Ascendant Lord meaning, okay? But it's the nakshatra we need to emphasize on as well. And as always, if you do not know what your Ascendant nakshatra is, what your moon nakshatra is, or any other planet in a certain nakshatra and sign, for that, check out the links here and check out my full astrological report, where on second page at the bottom, you will see exactly where each planet is, including starting with the ascendant, each sign they're in, each nakshatra they're in, and each padha they're in. So this way you'll be like, oh, okay, he's talking about this. Now, usually people who have gotten, career consultation from me, they see me sometimes. Some people actually see the fact that I start out with their Ascendant nakshatra. Sometimes I don't. It's all in my chess game in my head, how I want to start a certain consultation, what I want to tell you, what I don't want to tell you. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. And that's how it is. I never always do the same pattern, okay? But whenever I do the consultation, I always talk about your Ascendant Lord. I'm like, okay, so your Ascendant is Mercury and is placed in this house. And I always say, your life focus is always towards these things. Why? Because your Ascendant Lord sign is in a certain house. That means your focus is always towards that thing. Everything that you experience in life comes and funnels down through that aspect. So let's say if your Ascendant Lord is in the 5th house, everything, your focus is going to be on your studies, on your children, creative self-expression, on speculative business. And especially with Mercury, you might be interested in stock market. That's what we can see with your focus. No matter what you're doing, your focus will be on the 5th house. You want to marry somebody, you want to have a relationship with somebody. Well, can they have children? How many children can they give me? What can I invest with my partner? Always that focus will funnel down through those things. So if I talk about that, then Ascendant also has a certain importance to it. And based on what ascendant nakshatra you are, because let's say if you're an Aries ascendant, depending upon the degree, you might either be Ashwani nakshatra in the first 10 to 13 degree, then the next will be Bhrani nakshatra, and then last one will be Kritika nakshatra. And they all have their meaning. But then they all are ruled by a certain planet. Now there are arguments that certain nakshatras are not ruled by any planet, because there are 26 different Mahadashas. The only reason why we know about nakshatras is due to the Mahadasha concept in Vedic astrology. Because depending upon what nakshatra your moon is in, and your Mahadasha starts out with that planetary time period, we always assign that planet to that nakshatra. So if your moon starts out with Ashwani is in Ashwani nakshatra during your birth, and depending upon what Pada, the Pada 1 or Pada 4, will show either you'll start from the beginning of Ketu Mahadasha or the end of Ketu Mahadasha. Because Ashwani is ruled by Ketu. That's what we know. However, there are literally 26 to 150 Mahadashas in Vedic astrology. Each start out with different planetary time periods. So there's some legit arguments to it. However, according to me, according to everybody that I've met, nakshatras ruled by planets make a lot of sense. So we're going to stick to that basis in this video. Now, what does it mean to have ascendant nakshatra? Well, we know about your life focus from where your ascendant is placed, but what nakshatra does is shows the life pattern. What is going to be the pattern of your life? What are the schemes that will always keep popping up? We know your focus is there, but even that focus is going to make you go through a certain pattern. That is seen through Ashwani nakshatra. I'm sorry, not Ashwani. That is seen through nakshatra itself, not just Ashwani nakshatra. It could be any nakshatra. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you with certain examples what this ascendant nakshatra means, because it's quite important. So let's say if you are Ashwani nakshatra, let's say you were born at 4 degrees of Aries ascendant, okay, and your ascendant lord Mars is in the 9th house. What this shows is that your life focus is always towards wanting to attain higher education, especially related to either technology or law. You're always wanting to motivate other people. You're always wanting to take that place of your gurus and your teachers. It may also shows, depending upon how well Jupiter's placed, you may actually have power struggles with your gurus or people who try to teach you something. You always counter argue, you're like, what are you teaching me? Is this right? Is this not right? So all of these things are your life focus. If you're gonna go towards to find a spouse, you're gonna find a spouse who has a higher education, post-grad education, perhaps in engineering or law, and you're gonna look for a spouse who may actually travel with you, because your focus is on travel as well. You wanna travel, you wanna experience different things in life. And you're very bold, you're very much, very headstrong, hot-headed person. But everything revolves around your own philosophy. It's your own philosophy that's your focus. However, what is Ashwani nakshatra doing here? Ashwani nakshatra is saying that no matter what you deal with in your life, whether it's your career, whether it's your family, your siblings, your home, your children, your co-workers, enemies, whoever, you're gonna have to heal them. And you're gonna have to be this caretaker of them. Because Ashwani is a nakshatra of physicians to the gods, medicine man, healers, healthcare practitioners. So this Ashwani nakshatra is going to be putting them into a situation every single time where they're forced to find some cure for something, find solution. It doesn't mean you have to be a doctor with Ascendant Nakshatra being Ashwani. You might as well be. I've seen it too many times now. But what this shows is that you are somebody who's going to have to find solution in every aspect of life. And everybody's going to look for you for solutions. It also shows your pattern, your life pattern revolves around always racing from one place to the other. Because the symbolism of Ashwani is horse. Horse runs It can keep running. So these guys are workaholics. These guys are keep going from one place to the other, to the other, to the other. Same way you can look at Sagittarius Ascendant. If you're a Sagittarius Ascendant and your Ascendant Lord Jupiter, let's say, is in the 12th house, your whole life focus is going to be towards being in isolated places, wanting to be working in laboratories, wanting to be in hospitals, jails, asylums, monasteries, sanctuaries, spiritual sanctuaries, and wanting to do research all the time. You love digging deep for subjects, especially mystical subjects, occultic subjects, and you like to tap into other people's psychological baggage from behind the scenes where nobody can see what you're doing. Kind of like a psychologist, psychiatrist. So life focus is always towards these things. Even if you're in IT, you're always about this person who researches problem and sees what the hell is wrong, why this software is not working right. So that's the main thing that happens with this life focus. But let's say if you're a Mula nakshatra, being a Sagittarius Ascendant, the pattern that you're going to run into your life is of a true detective. You're always going to be forced to dig deep into the roots of the problem and roots of every aspect of your life. So when you have a relationship with someone which is directly opposite to you, you're going to try to dig information on them. Most people don't. They're like, whatever. She's hot, she's beautiful. Man, I'll marry you. No, but you'll be like, okay, let me do a background check on her. Let me see what she's about, who her ex was, who's this, what she's, I'm going to date her. I'm going to find out what she is first. You're going to go to the root cause of this person, what this person is about. What is their root? How strong are their roots? But at the same time, is this particular Ascendant nakshatra that shows that your life pattern will revolve around spirituality, meditation, yoga. Somehow, some way, you will always end up in a spiritual place. Now, in my very first video that I made on Ascendant nakshatra, I've already made a video, like a 6-7 minute video, where I talk about how the nakshatra lord, Mahadasha, activates that actual purpose in your life full force. So let's say if you're Mula nakshatra and you were born in your Mercury Mahadasha, or let's say middle of Saturn Mahadasha, then probably by in your mid-30s, you enter your Ketu Mahadasha. And Mula is ruled by Ketu. So what happens is now Ketu becomes alive. You finally get your life purpose through Ketu, and Ketu will be all around you from that point on. Suddenly something will happen where you're just like joining meditation groups and yoga groups. You're probably wanting to just read books and research on whatever subject that can show you the true essence of spirituality. So activation of the nakshatra through its Mahadasha Lord, as in Mahadasha being activated, can suddenly switch everything off and your whole purpose will be that. Like, another example would be probably, I would say, Revati nakshatra. If you're born with Pisces Ascendant with Revati nakshatra, sure, your Jupiter's placed somewhere else. Your life focus is there, always there, no matter what. But if you're a Revati nakshatra, shows that the pattern that you're always going to run into throughout your life is going to be related to arts, music, singing, dancing, sculpting, writing, and Revati is the deepest part of spirituality. It's the deepest water. So throughout your life, you're going to be interested in creative, imaginative things through which you can express your creativity. No matter what, even if, let's say, you become an attorney, you're probably going to somehow end up having a client who might be related to the Revati nakshatra. Probably somebody who's a writer, somebody who's into film industry, creative person. And now you're dealing with that clients or dealing with those clients a lot. Somehow, especially even if you're a lawyer and you start your Mercury Mahadasha, which is the ruler of Revati nakshatra, suddenly something will happen where you're like, okay, I want to write a book. I want to go towards music. I want to learn a guitar. Maybe you're practicing law and you'll keep practicing that. Sorry, my sprinklers just went off, so I had to move. But anyway, as I was saying, even if you're a lawyer and you're practicing whatever you're practicing law, but once Mercury becomes active in its Mahadasha of 17 years. In that time period, somehow, some way, you're going to end up finding interest into probably wanting to learn a guitar, wanting to learn to play a piano, probably write poems, write blogs. So the pattern will suddenly become more evident than any other time. But throughout life, it's going to be the situations that you're going to run into. It's always going to be related to helping people with their creative outlooks, or creative output, or you yourself are going to be involved in that. If, let's say, you are born with Aquarius ascendant, with Sastabhisha nakshatra. So we know, let's say your Saturn is placed in the 3rd house, meaning that you're always doing things through your own effort. You're making money through your own effort. You probably have your own business because Saturn in the 3rd house will not allow you to be happy working under other people. But your Sastabhisha nakshatra is a nakshatra of 100 or 1,000 physicians to the gods. Medicine man, healers, scientists, engineers, photographers. It's a nakshatra ruled by Rahu, who not only is a scientist, but is also a magician, illusion, photography, cinema. So no matter what you do through your own effort, your Sastabhisha nakshatra will either make you go and, again, heal people, solve people's problem, do scientific research, perhaps as your own work. Or you're always going to be interested in reading science magazines related to new age technology. Or you're going to be doing photography. Somehow, somewhere, you're always going to find yourself taking pictures of other people and yourself. And especially when Rahu Mahadasha starts, one of these avenues of Sastabhisha nakshatra will become active, depending upon where the nakshatra lord is placed. If nakshatra lord Rahu is placed in the 8th house, that pattern will always revolve around research work, scientific research work. If it's in the 5th house, it'll invoke creative self-expression with you. You probably want to pick up a camera and become a photographer, wanting to just do photography as a hobby. This does not mean that this becomes the career. It all has to be determined through many other factors. But nakshatra, ascendant nakshatra, brings you a lifelong pattern. Just like your ascendant lord brings your focus towards this one aspect no matter what happens. So that's what ascendant nakshatra does. And based on every single nakshatra, you can go through my moon nakshatras, whatever meaning that I talk about, relay that as your life pattern. And you will see all 100% you will be running in these situations all throughout your life. If you're Pushya nakshatra is ruled by Saturn. Pushya nakshatra is about nourishing other people, taking care of other people, being this in a hospitality environment, always making people feel comfortable and always making people good about themselves. That's what Pushya nakshatra does. So that you'll always do. So doesn't matter if you're a soldier, doesn't matter if you're an IAS officer, does not matter if you're an artist. Maybe you're sculpting things. But you'll always somehow run into the pattern of nourishing people, taking care of people, and making people feel comfortable and make them good about themselves. So that's what Ascendant Nakshatra does. And it becomes important because you realize your life pattern. Now, sometimes life pattern actually becomes life purpose. For that, again, house placements are seen, where the Ascendant Nakshatra planet is placed. If it's in Dharma houses, Artha houses, Kama houses, is it your Dharma that's becoming? Is it the desire that's becoming? All of these things matter, but mainly one shows your focus, the Ascendant, and then the Ascendant Nakshatra shows the pattern. Okay? So guys, this is my video on Ascendant Nakshatras. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. So we'll talk about this more later on. And if you want to know where your Ascendant Nakshatra, what your Ascendant Nakshatra is, where your Ascendant Lord is placed, all of this good stuff, including all my consultations, for that, check out the links here with all my books here as well. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with our Nakshatra series. Bye-bye.